What's up, space pirates? I am your captain, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster, and today we get to revel in the fact that we were correct. And not just a little correct. For those poor dullards who want to argue with us and simp for Lucasfilm, we were soul-crushingly, devastatingly spot on. Indiana Jones 5 is a certifiable bomb at the box office.
Fade in. Lori Atkin. She was the first.
Maybe if Kathleen Kennedy spent less time worrying about girl power and more time concerning herself with the cultural power of the franchises that she essentially inherited from George Lucas, she wouldn't be in this position right now. Maybe the studio wouldn't be so mistrusted, and it wouldn't have cost so much money to make a movie with such an awful plot.
That's gonna leave a mark.
$60 million. That is the estimated opening weekend of the box office for The Dial of Destiny as of this writing. That means the film came in on the low end of its projected $60 to $70 million opening weekend. That also means it is only a small step ahead of The Flash, while also being one of the most expensive films ever produced.
What a predicament!
But hey, the Rotten Tomatoes score is really good, so that means it's gonna do really well in week 2, right? I mean, it's just gonna have this awesome word of mouth, it's gonna rebound, it's gonna do great. Wrong. And I'm going to tell you why in this video. The cope coming out of the shill media seems to be somewhat centered around the fact that the Indy 5 Rotten Tomatoes audience score is good. But it is a mirage, and it is quite desperate. It reeks of desperation. We're going to look at some of this cope from the shills, we're going to talk about the Rotten Tomatoes score and what it means, and we're going to discuss the numbers of this movie in finer detail. Why? Because making fun of the self-righteous simpletons at Lucasfilm and their mouth-breathing crackheads who simp for them is just about my favorite pastime.
Be a good little fella now and open the door.
Shoot!
Alright now, let's demonstrate the feckless simping of Lucasfilm by having a look at this article from AV Club. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny buries the weekend box office, which is somehow disappointing. Dial of Destiny opened up to only $60 million, while The Flash falls further than ever. One of the best things about this article, as you're about to see, is that the writer acts like inflation isn't a thing. I'm sure the dude is fully aware that inflation exists and that because of inflation, by today's standard, $60 million for the opening weekend of an Indiana Jones movie is not good. But he has to latch onto something, anything, to make it sound like it's no big deal. One of the reasons the WGA is currently on strike is that the streaming model for movies and TV shows is completely broken. But surely something about the theatrical model is broken as well if a new Indiana Jones movie opens at the top of the box office $50 million ahead of anything else and is still considered a disappointment. Comparing Indiana Jones to the other movies that are in the box office right now doesn't work, my dude. Perhaps you don't understand how numbers work in a business, you sweet little summer child. Well, let me explain. If you spend a bunch of money to make something for your customers, and then not as many customers buy your product or service as you expected, so that you don't make as much money as you spent, well, that's a bad thing. It means you lost money. And that is why Lucasfilm is disappointed. That is why this movie is being called a disappointment.
Disappointed!
Now that we have that out of the way, the writer says, and yet that's what has happened to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which made $60 million, seems to have reasonably positive buzz, and yet Hollywood is like, bleh, what a bomb. Wake up, dude. I will reiterate, at $60 million domestically, this movie is on pace for what I've been predicting all along, a domestic box office final tally of around $200 million. That is not good, because it results in a loss for Disney of around $200 million by the time all is said and done, and that's at the low estimate. It could be a lot more that they're losing, but conservatively estimating costs for Disney in this movie, they will have lost $200 million.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
The article continues on. It's sort of hard to argue with that when you look at number 2 on the domestic charts, which is Across the Spider-Verse. It's only made $11.5 million, but after 5 weeks, it has a total of $339 million. That's pretty respectable. After that is Pixar's Elemental, another disappointment, which made $11.3 million in its 3rd week and has a total of $88 million. Wrapping up the top 5 are No Hard Feelings and Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, with the latter hitting $136 million, which seems pretty good, so it's probably another stupid Hollywood disappointment.
Ooh, sassy!
I just love this transparent cope here. The sassy tone of the writing is meant as a cover-up for the naked failure of this wretched movie, but it doesn't work. We can see through Hollywood propaganda. We as a fan base have gotten pretty good at seeing through their crap. That's why less than half the people that went to see Kingdom of the Crystal Skull back in 2008, less than half of those numbers were achieved for this film, as you will see. That's also why the Rotten Tomatoes score is really solid for this movie. Let's talk about this by digging into some numbers. The other day, I brought up average movie ticket prices by year. Bear with me because this is important context for this Rotten Tomatoes discussion. According to thenumbers.com, link in the description, in 2008, when Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out, the average movie ticket was $7.18. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull had a domestic opening weekend of $100,137,000. If we divide the domestic opening number by the average ticket cost, we get $13,946,000 and about 774 movie tickets that were sold that weekend. What happens if we do that to Dial of Destiny? Well, it ain't good, but it sure is telling. The average ticket price domestically today is $10.45. The estimated opening weekend of Indiana Jones 5 is $60 million. If we divide that number by the average ticket price, we get 5,741,626 movie tickets that were sold domestically. That is less than half the people who went to see this thing. To be precise, the amount of tickets sold is a little over 41% of the Crystal Skull tickets sold. That means that Lucasfilm has lost over half, and in fact, almost 60% of its audience from 2008. This number, the 41% of what they had back in 2008, those are the people who are either ideologically aligned with modern Lucasfilm or the people who just don't pay attention to the culture war and who will mindlessly consume corporate garbage no matter what. Circling back to what started this conversation, keep in mind that those are the people who are largely leaving reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Of course, it is favorable for Lucasfilm. They traded an army of people who loved George Lucas's brilliant creations for a group of sycophantic zombies who aren't a large enough group who can prop the company up financially. The destiny of Dial of Destiny was always going to be costing Disney shitloads of money. Let's talk about that again really quick. They are on pace to do exactly what I predicted all along. Around $200 million domestically. Keep in mind that usually a movie makes about a third of its total box office in the first weekend, so they're on pace for about $180 million. Also, I predicted around $400 million globally, which they are also on pace to do. If I end up being correct in the end, then this is a catastrophic experience for Disney. The budget for the film was reportedly about $295 million, though some outlets are saying it might even be more. The marketing cost will be at least $100 million. At most, the studio gets to take half of the movie ticket sales, probably less than that, but if we are generous for the sake of argument and say that they get half those sales dollars, then, if I am right, and if Indiana Jones 5 makes $400 million at the box office, then Disney will have made $200 million on a roughly $400 million investment. That is why people are calling this film a disappointment. And this is the damage that was done by The Last Jedi, the worst movie of all time, the most damaging of films ever made in the history of Hollywood. It drove us all away. You've lost over half your audience, Lucasfilm. But hey, at least the loyalists who remain are giving you good reviews. However, as far as I can remember anyhow, good reviews are not yet a currency, so unless your employees are willing to be paid in good reviews, I think your ass might be in trouble. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.